Hello, my name is Tony Burtis. I am the lead investigator and founder of Western Door Paranormal. Welcome to our show. We are in historic Lewiston. Lewiston itself is steeped in history, a lot of it paranormal. The War of 1812 was fought here, just out there, down there by the river, down there by Art Park. Near Barton Hill is just down the way. There's a lot of paranormal activity also in Lewiston, due largely to the burning of the village during the War of 1812. That sort of thing. We have Little Yellow Chocolate House down that way. We have Barton Hill Spa. We have all kind of stuff. But the investigation today is going to center around the Piper's Village Inn Bed and Breakfast. So what we're going to do, my team is here, what we're going to do is perform an investigation using scientific methods to hopefully catch the paranormal activity that's going on in this particular bed and breakfast. So I really do believe we're going to have one heck of a show. Okay, we're getting ready to conduct the investigation of the Piper Bed and Breakfast. This is the owner of the establishment, Janine Piper. Hello, it's a pleasure to meet you. Now, if you guys tell us a little bit about the history of the place.
Well, the house was built in 1890 by Dr. Kerr. And he was obviously a doctor, and his practice was in the tea room in this building, hence the two front doors. There was a separate entrance for the actual office, and then his family lived in the rest of the house. There's a lot of history in this house. I'm sure possible deaths.
Paranormal.
Yeah, possible
deaths,
paranormal.
Yeah. There's a doctor's office.
Not that I actually know of,
right.
But out back there's a carriage house, and he actually had a horse and carriage where he did house calls.
Okay.
So his horse would take him from house to house, and he actually, in the basement, he whipped together his remedies and whatnot, and did some holistic remedies for individuals.
Now, what year was this? What year did he own it?
1890.
Oh, okay.
But it stayed within his family for numerous years.
Oh, okay.
There were two spinster sisters that lived here, and it has stayed with his family for a long time. It hasn't changed hands more than probably 4 times up until I owned it. So.
Okay. Now, so what about any of the paranormal activity?
Well, when it first moved in, it was a little disturbing because the first thing I did was change the 2 front rooms in the house because they were the kids' rooms. So turning it into a bed and breakfast, obviously they had to be changed.
Right.
So I was ripping down wallpaper and whatnot and using the spray wallpaper remover. And I left the house. I opened up all the windows, shut off all the lights, and left the house. And I was driving around the side of the house. And I look up and all the lights are on. So I'm like, okay. New house, I did something wrong. So I came back around, went upstairs, all the windows were jogged. Half open, closed, and lights that you had to manually turn on were on. And other lights were on, some were off,
so
on and so
different
forth.
things to actually do all this stuff. Not as if it was one event that turned them all on.
It was very odd. I was really tired. I thought maybe I sniffed too much of whatever I was spraying on the walls, so I just fixed it and left.
Okay.
Came back the next morning to work again, and again, lights were on. They had definitely turned off. They knew I definitely had turned off, and that was odd. Then the first night I stayed in the house, my dog would just freak out, just randomly, hair up on his back, barking at something just randomly in the air, and so I was really nervous moving into a big new old house.
Right. All of a sudden, all these things happen to you immediately.
Exactly. So you're a little nervous, and I'm like, well, maybe it's my nerves, whatever. So you rationalize everything. And then one night I had stayed in, and I'll show you the room upstairs, which is a room that has 2 twin beds, and there's just no way around it because I woke up, the dog was on one twin bed and I was on the other, and he was standing on the bed with his hair up on his back barking at something, and I heard somebody talking.
Okay.
And I had woken up out of the sleep. I thought maybe it was a dream, but it was continuing. So him and I walked through the whole entire house thinking maybe somebody thought it was open already and there was some random person walking through the house, and no, nobody was here. All the doors were locked, and just very strange and hard to go back to sleep after that.
Well, animals tend to be in tune to the paranormal, so
Absolutely.
I was surprised that he'd be the first one to actually find something.
Right. And the thing is, I'm a bit cynical to the whole thing, so I try to rationalize everything. Oh, I did something wrong, or whatever. So so that was odd, and that was the initial initiation into the house, which wasn't real fun.
No,
I
not
have to
exactly. I know how
say.
to move into a house right away and
Yeah.
actually have things happen immediately.
Right.
And until you actually settle in a little bit.
Well, like they say though, it may have had to do with the construction of the house.
Usually it does. When you start to
right.
change the
Yeah.
environment, it's known to actually pick up paranormal.
Right, right.
It does pick up a lot. Now, one of the stories I've heard about the bed and breakfast, I don't know if you heard this one, but I have to confirm or deny this with you, was that the doctor, or someone maybe before or like him, used to perform electrical experiments on cadavers. Is that something you've heard of? Or?
I haven't, but it's possible.
Okay, so
You know,
that's
I don't
kinda-
think somebody's going to come to me and actually give me that piece of information.
Your
considering
realtor's
I
not
live
going to
here.
say, oh, by the way, he's doing Frankenstein stuff in your basement.
But there
Yeah.
was, I mean, down at the pedestrian church, right down the street, there's a hanging Judge Piper. Also, I don't know if you're aware of this, but
Yeah,
he's
we-
buried there.
Yeah, we tried, we
And
found
he's a
it.
Piper, my name.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
my.
We tried to find a
Family
tree.
tree.
We'll have to figure out where it is one of these days.
Right.
We took a look around for it.
But he actually hung people quite often for
Very-
random reasons.
Within,
therefore,
well, back in those days, it
Judge
probably didn't
Piper,
take
right?
much, right within eye shot of the bed and breakfast.
Right, right.
Oh,
So
wow,
and
okay.
maybe hence
Some of the spirits came right in here, seeing it was his family's home. And,
Right.
possibly,
It's hard to say.
possibly.
well, if you give us a 10-cent tour, maybe show us some of the high
Absolutely,
spots.
sure, sure. Well, in here, I'll tell you one story.
Okay.
This couch sat exactly where it is.
Okay.
I live out back in the carriage house. I came
Mhm.
in one day, and I was grabbing some ice cream at like midnight out of the freezer, and all the lights I shut off, and it was winter,
Okay.
so I didn't have a lot of activity, nobody in the house, and you know, I said, "Oh, why is the light on in the living room?" So I came in to turn the light off. Swear on my life, I saw somebody sitting there, so I beelined right out back again.
Oh, okay.
And my boyfriend at the time was out there, so I said, "Oh my God, somebody's in the house!" So he came in with me, and as we snuck into the house, like ready to like pounce on someone, you know, thinking somebody came
Right.
into the house, we heard footsteps because you know it's an old hardwood floor,
Mhm.
and we heard footsteps, and we heard them continuously up the stairs, and we're just standing there in shock, and we looked through the whole entire house, did not find anyone, and I can't even tell you what the person looked like, but somebody was sitting there.
It was kind of, was
I
it
mean,
fuzzy or solid?
No, it wasn't
or
solid.
just so fast?
But it was so fast
Or so
because I
fast.
freaked out so
Right.
quickly because I saw it and ran.
Just nothing, no,
Yeah,
something was.
it wasn't even. I didn't
Okay.
take time to even adjust to actually look.
Okay.
So that was an odd thing that had happened, and that was actually after a year
Really?
that I was here. So,
Okay.
so that was quite strange. And then the actual. We'll walk through.
Okay.
This is actually the original fireplace from 1890 here. So there's a lot of fixtures. I don't know if they say architecture plays into paranormal.
Absolutely, it does. Absolutely.
That's the original fireplace from the 1890s. The tile, the mantle, everything. The woodwork is all original. Never been painted. It's been refinished. And it was refinished by Dr. Glacier, from what I know. And he actually passed away probably 3 years ago. His son and daughter came through here, and they had taken the house from him, the bank or something. From what they said, this is very vague information, but and they had said this was his passion, this house. And so he was very upset.
sense.
So when I talked to him and I told him about some of the activity, they said very likely my father would move back into any house
Yeah.
in his past you know,
There are certain things in
his
people's
life after
lives
this would be the place he would
that
go.
are
Yeah.
major
Yeah.
events.
They
The
would
birth
do
of your
that.
kids, the purchase of your homes. I have to imagine
Yeah.
that
It's
someone
a
takes your
beautiful
home.
home.
It's a huge emotional, traumatic
Absolutely.
event, especially if you love the
The
place.
woodworking, and he had the room that I'll show you that most of the activity happens
Okay.
in is the room that was his hobby room. So that
we had
kind of
that
plays
before.
in,
Yeah.
you know. That was his room that he had built the extension on the house, and that was his room for all of his hobby activity and whatnot. And then he
Okay.
had the carriage house where he refinished all of his furniture and stuff like that. So
Okay.
there's a lot of possibilities.
Absolutely.
But coming through here, it's not much, except for this one light, might be an electrical thing, but it goes on and off at its own will, and I change it all the time, and it's still at its own will. But in here is where the doctor's office actually was, and I have a beeper that I have a motion detector. So the motion detector is located right there. And there's nothing, you actually have to walk past it, physically
Okay.
walk past it in order for it to detect.
Is it active now?
You know what, I don't have it on, the beeper is in there, but I don't know if the batteries work, because I shut it down.
Okay.
Because I was getting so spooked out. what would happen is I would have it out back in the carriage house where I was staying, and it would go off in the middle of the night constantly. So it would freak me out. I'd wake up and I'd come in thinking somebody broke into the house, something of that nature. So I just shut it down because I didn't want to deal with it anymore.
Well, one of the things we might be able to document then if we can turn it back on, what we'll do is we'll never go in here. We'll kind of, when we investigate here, we'll keep this in mind, and if it goes off, we'll be able to document that for you.
I mean, you have to consider this was the doctor's office. This was the waiting room.
Okay.
So
I can see that.
So there's possibilities
This is
of
where the patients went.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just speculating, but yeah. So that's something. And we'll go back up, and I'll show you where most of this stuff happens, which is upstairs in the main house.
Okay.
The carriage house, I've never experienced any activity, and I don't know, I mean, it was completely gutted and renovated, and I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but I've never experienced anything.
Was it, and it was here though at the same time?
It was here, and there was, I've heard stories about Dr. Kerr actually had a guy that was like a transient, and he would let him stay in the carriage house. There's a lot of stories that go around.
Okay.
But I haven't experienced anything, and I don't know if it's just because I don't want to, or if...
Has any guests ever said anything? Is that where the guests actually stay over there?
There's 2 jacuzzi suites upstairs, but they've never said anything. But in here, they have. People have asked me in the morning over breakfast, do you have any ghosts in the house?
Okay.
Because there had been like one room booked, and it's just one couple, and I try to play it off because I don't want to spook them out. So
right, you don't want to come out.
So I'll say, well, maybe somebody had their TV on, but nobody else was up there.
Or it's an old house.
It's an old house, the Yellow Creeks. But this room here, when I stayed in here, there was always creaks, and this is where Max would always stand at the door. This was the master suite. So this is where this was Dr. Kerr's room originally. He would just get up in the middle of the night and stand at the doorway and bark.
Oh, okay.
So with just things like that. But the main room, I mean, these rooms were the rooms that I was transitioning, which I would assume were the kids' rooms.
Right.
Since this was the master suite.
So no medical stuff. There was never any patients up here. This is where they actually stayed and lived.
This was the family's home. So possibly in these 2 rooms, maybe because they were being transitioned, they were the kids' rooms. There was issue with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
Like I said before, anytime you start to change or rearrange the architecture, it's a known fact that paranormal activity just picks right up.
Right.
Because they object to the changes in what's known to them.
Sure.
And they try and stop it sometimes. Most of the time, not very successful, but they try.
Yeah.
So it makes a lot of sense. Your stories are collaborating with a lot of known folklore about paranormal activity.
Right.
Between the dogs and between renovations and that sort of thing.
Right. So those are the rooms that we were working on, and down here is the room where all the activity has always happened, and this is where this was the extension that I was talking about earlier. That this was Dr. Glacier's hobby room.
Okay.
So this is where Max was on this bed, I was on that bed, and this was the freak out point.
Oh, okay. So this could be like one of the hotter spots.
I would say probably. But then, telling my parents are here, we're all working and this and that, but they think you're kooky when you tell them stories, and I'm like, listen, I'm not nuts. I wasn't drinking.
Right. That's where we come in. Not that we're gonna help you drink it all. I think about it. That's where we come in and we document.
I'm like, if I was, I would have been sound asleep, and I wouldn't have.
Right, you've been so passed out, you never would have known.
Mm-hmm.
People don't typically hallucinate paranormal activity when they're drinking.
Right.
They just try to make it by. They just don't go too far.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, really, I wouldn't even say this if it weren't something that were
absolutely
spooking me out a little bit.
It's like us. We normally don't talk about anything until we're 100% sure. We'll go over the footage over and over and over, and then once we're in agreement, it's like. I don't know. I can't tell you. We ruled out anything normal that is paranormal, so it's along the same lines.
You kind of have to experience it
you have
to even get a feel of what it's really about. Mm-hmm. So I told them about this, and then my mom was upstairs in the attic, and she was, I don't know what she was doing. She was, because it was in the moving process and everything else, and she comes flying down the stairs. She's like, I believe you.
And what happened to be
because she had heard something upstairs talking. The thing is, this voice I mean, it wasn't like anything disturbing. It wasn't like somebody was
mumbling.
It was mumbling. It was kind of ornery. It was kind of ornery, which is like, can you be a little more pleasant? Like it was kind of, you know, it was just kind of ornery. And I'm like, really?
Could have been somebody getting bad news downstairs in the doctor's office. Could have been anything.
I don't know. Yeah, something odd. So so she came down, but she denies it to this day. But she freaked out that moment, that day. And now today she's like, oh, well, no, I don't remember.
Maybe when you show her the tape of this whole thing, she'll be she'll say all those years, I'm sorry, I owe you a drink.
I'm gonna make her sleep overnight up in the attic and see what happens. But I'll show you the attic also.
Okay.
Personally, I haven't experienced much up there, but my guests have made comments about hearing things in the attic.
Really?
But once again, you know, old house, who knows?
Old houses creak, old houses have dragons,
Right.
sometimes they make noise, and a lot of people take almost anything as paranormal.
Sure. Just that they kind of want to.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Let me put the light out. But be very careful going up these stairs because there's some that are broken.
Okay.
Not real safe.
Bingo. Broken staircase with a camera.
Ooh.
And another odd thing up here.
Wow.
That's gonna catch us immediately. Hey Mike, make sure you make a mental note of that right there. That's gonna send you flying right
That
back
was
down
one
them
of my
stairs.
scarecrows during the Scarecrow Festival. Sorry.
That would work.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and then you get another one.
And that was Beauty and the Beast. Yeah.
Oh yeah, good job. Good job actually.
My mom did that. Yeah, isn't that great?
Mm-hmm.
But this is an odd thing that I found up here. Like right when we moved in, that it's a cistern, I would think.
Okay.
So that must be from Prohibition.
Oh,
Right.
from when they were making their own liquor and their own
Right,
wine.
right.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
Prohibition.
I'm assuming that's
They
what it
would
is.
do
I'm not
that in
positive.
private.
Yeah.
So that's like a
Right.
still.
Right. But how
Okay.
does it get up here? Because it definitely didn't come up that stairwell.
It almost
Some
would have had to
made
been put up here and the place was built around it.
Exactly.
Or they sealed up the way to come up here, so it kind of like, I don't know, people would think, well, how can there be a sill up in the attic? When they see this, and they just go right away. It was kind of ingenious. They smell that wonderful wine start to boil and percolate.
Until everybody's having a lot more fun than they are.
Yes, absolutely. What the heck was all that?
Are you in the parlor?
I heard that. It sounded like someone walked across the floor.
Are you here in the dining room? A lovely tea sets in here. Is this your mantle?
What the heck?
Are you in the kitchen?
I definitely heard that. It sounded like something bumped something in here.
You in the kitchen? We're here. Wow.
Yeah, this picture, for reasons I don't understand.
$380. It's got some kind of maybe lead in it.
Yeah, I don't understand. No, a picture should have no EMF. And I get the most energy from around this picture and this easel. Is there anything right behind that easel? Maybe a lighting fixture that's actually attached to the easel?
No.
It's weird. Is it lighting up behind it? Or around it? It just goes nuts right in front of the picture. I can't explain that. At least not yet. We were in investigating the waiting room area of the bed and breakfast. There was a painting there. Now, using the K2, we were picking up some crazy EMF readings from the painting. We checked it for any fixtures, plugs, lighting, anything like that. We really couldn't find nothing like that, so I can't explain why we would get that kind of lighting from that. Now, as Felina goes around the back and starts doing K2 readings by the shelf area, you'll notice you hear a voice say something along the lines of, right here. So, check it out. It's a beautiful picture. Oops.
Oh, wait a minute.
What?
Whatever this material is, it's on this material. Come to me. Touch my hand.
What the hell?
What was that?
That was real loud, but that almost sounded like it came from underneath us.
Yeah, it did. Was that you?
Whoa.
Did you get your first knock? Let's try it again.
Okay, in this following clip, me, Felina, and Jenna are up in one of the guest rooms. I believe it was one of the kid rooms or something. And when Felina was getting ready to go take a snapshot under the bed, you hear a voice that sounds almost robotic. It's a clear male voice saying something along the lines of, "You're taking pictures." Check it out.
Are you hiding underneath the bed? If you're here, come on out.
In this next clip, me, Felina, and Jenna are still investigating in the bedrooms. And you're going to hear a really odd EVP. It almost sounds like the voice is quoting Edgar Allan Poe or something. It says something about maybe you should check the stairs, go to the stairs. You can judge this one for yourself. Just listen for it. I think it's mentioning something about the stairs, because there was an area of the stairs that we really didn't get a chance to investigate. So this is a really creepy voice. It sounds just like the voice you heard in the prior clip. Check it out.
Exactly like that. And just spot right. Just sitting there talking to him. Lights out and everything.
My friend is up here too. Are you the one that thumped? Okay, there's something that's floating in front of me. Little tiny thing.
This off the whole time.
Right here.
Look at that.
Careful. There's a thing right there.
What's that? Now see, it's a weird sustained EMF field.
It glow orange and flicker.
See, now it's that.
Oh my god.
What?
You didn't say anything?
No.
Carly didn't say anything?
What'd you see?
No, it wasn't that. A girl's voice was up here.
What?
You didn't pick that up?
No.
Hello again. Me. Are you still here with us? I'm sorry that I left, but
I think it's the Ert. It's a girl.
are you still my friend?
I thought I just heard a hum.
Are you you're still with me today? Right now? Oh, so you are. Thank you. You still want to be my friend? Come on, you can do it. Thank you. Come on. You want to talk, don't you? See? Yes, thank you. See? Everybody, I love being your friend. You love being mine? Come on.
Okay, this final session is going to, of course, encompass the EVPs we picked up. I'm going to explain what you're supposed to hear and just watch the monitor and let me know what you think. Also, we did get one decent picture. What happened there is we were going down the stairs from the attic to the basement for a break, and Felina physically saw a light or an orb come back up the stairs, and it got kind of cold, so she snapped the picture, and the picture you're going to see is what we got. The picture kind of looks almost like it's got a face in the orb. I know that could be transposing, but still, the circumstances and the picture kind of link up together. So go ahead, check out the EVPs, check out the photo, and just go on my website and check it out. And www.westerndoorparanormal.com. We love the feedback. You can email me at tonybu716@aol.com. So enjoy the EVPs and the photo. Okay, this is the session with me, Felina, and Carney up in the attic. Carney was doing a pretty good job with the K2 with questions and answers with the spirit up there. At about the 137 point, he gets a clear and definite answer to one of his questions. The spirit says yes.
I was either in the second floor. Enough talking, right? See, thank you. You just love talking to people, don't you? Come on, get the mics going again. Come on, we can do it. Put it on mics. Come on, make me believe it. Let the mics glow. Glow, make them glow. You can do better than that. I know you can. I was talking an hour ago. Remember? Yes. Are you still my friend? Come on, light them up. Thank you.
This is the same session with me, Felina, and Carney up in the attic talking to the same spirit. At about the 139.54 point, you hear another yes response.
Come on, are you happy? Yes, you are. Is this your home sweet home? Good job. It is? Are you safe here? You feel safe?
Okay, this EVP session here is, of course, from the Piper Bed and Breakfast. What you're going to hear is at about the 249 point, you're going to hear what sounds like giggling or a little girl's laughter. Okay, let's give it a listen.
Now you know this.
Okay, in this clip, it's me, Jenna, and Felina in one of the bedrooms. We begin to kid around and talk about Felina's butt because she said it got cold. Now, right after I asked if the butt was made frosty, right about at the 622 point, we hear a voice that sounds a lot like the metallic, robotic male voice that we heard earlier, kind of referring to Felina's butt. We're not sure if it's saying nice butt or big butt. We'll let you go ahead and be the judge.
Okay, did you make Mr. Frosty on my wife's butt?
Man, you're all boogers on your touch one, but that's not fair.
This clip here was taken pretty much at the beginning of the investigation. At about the 14-second point, we get that strange robotic guy again, but this time I'm not exactly sure what he's saying. We went over it and over it and over it, of course, but we just can't figure it out. But we know it's his voice, we know it didn't hear it at the time, and we know it doesn't belong there.
Easy question. Are you a man that lives in this house?
This next clip, once again, we're upstairs in the bedrooms, And at about the 39-second point, you're going to hear a voice say, okay.
Same thing. Or you can try to talk to us on our voice recorder here. Can you let it?
At this point, it's still me, Felina, and Jenna in the upstairs bedrooms. We started to try to communicate using a series of knocks. At about the 5:03 point in this clip, you'll hear that we get a knock back in response.
Come to me. Touch my hand.
What the hell? That was real loud, but that almost sounded like it came from underneath us.
Yeah, it did. Was that you?
Whoa.
Did you get your first...
This final EVP is interesting. It was the end of our night. We were all wrapping everything up, and of course we were all talking and, talking about the night and kind of joking around. At about the 2:15:44 point, however, there's a very audible gasp where definitely it shouldn't be, and we didn't hear one. We're referring to Felina and kidding with her around a little bit, and it's our belief it's the same male spirit that was talking and playing with her all night long. Check it out.
I'm trying to appear